open up of our season at home when it counts. Thought, we had our whole crew today, I thought came in and gave us some really good minutes offensively. Still had some miscues defensively, particularly going down the stretch in the second half that, we certainly are concerned about. Our help side defense is not quite where it needs to be. We left our post players kind of high and dry there a few possessions with them being able to kind of lob over the top of us and get some easy baskets. But again, we will continue to work on that end. But it was a great, like I said, a great afternoon for a lot of reasons. Set several school records. Agler comes out and hits her first, four threes. But I just thought collectively as a group, each of them provided us with either points or a spark. Need to make sure that our bench comes ready to play every day because they can give us great energy, but they can also give us great production. But was a good day for the Hoosiers.
Do they just kind of have the green light from three when they're hitting it?
Well, I think you have to. Do they have the green light? I'm not so sure that they have the green light, but we certainly know that we have kids that can shoot it. I mean, they're just really good outside shooters, and we always talk to them about, you got to take what the defense gives you. We talk about, kickouts to threes. We talk about quick ball reversals to open threes. And I thought that's just kind of what happened today for us. We had a few threes that I thought we took guarded, probably not at an opportune time in the shot clock. We probably could have got better looks. But I thought early, particularly in the first half, that first 8 to 10 minutes, I thought we were getting shots in our offense, which in knocking them down, which was really important.
Obviously, in a win by 61 points, you have to be nitpicky to find things to improve on. You mentioned defense, but also we saw Jen Anderson get into a little bit of foul trouble in the first half. How do you help correct that?
Well, we'll talk about foul trouble here in a minute. Nitpicky, absolutely at halftime. You can go in and we're shooting 63%, but my job is still to make sure our players understand that there's still areas that we can improve and get better. What I was disappointed with was our lack of getting to the free throw line. They got there 16 times to our 1 time. I think Tyra was the only one in the first half that got to the free throw line. When part of your game plan is to go in and attack, get to the free throw line, and you only get there 1 time, that's not following the game plan. So our players knew that at halftime, that if there was one area that I was disappointed that we weren't taking care of, that was our inability to get to the free throw line. We've talked about it, the foul trouble, the foul prone, Jen, Cahill, Lindsay, they just can't do it. They can't get into foul trouble for us. And it's nice to have Mara, but she's a wing that has to go down there and battle bigger players than she is, and she's doing a great job. But at the end of the day, we've got to figure out a way, and we talk about it each day. The discipline that we have to move your feet, contest shots with a high hand without picking up cheap fouls. That will continue to be a problem for us if we don't fix it, and we have to. It's discipline. It's like I said, it's showing them on film. It is breaking down when we're fatigued and we give in. It's being able to get to that, make that next play, get to the offensive end, and then ask for a sub versus bailing kids out because we're just tired. So there's a lot of reasons why those are happening, but for sure it continues to be a concern of ours.
Is it a point of emphasis for you guys to really mix up the defenses? It looked like you had a couple of different zones throughout the game. You also played a little bit of man a lot in the second half. So is that something you want to do, mix up the defense?
Well, we're going to have to. We played primarily man-to-man today, but from doubling the post to being in a 2-3 zone to being in a 3-2 zone to picking up full court and trying to take some time off the clock. We're going to have to be able to do all that. We haven't put some of that in because we've been so focused on our man-to-man in the half court. But there's no question that going down the stretch and getting into Big Ten play, we may give up size, we may give up some athleticism to some of those other Big Ten schools, but one thing that we can control is we can be unpredictable in what we're doing defensively and keep other teams off balance with whether or not we're in a zone or we're in our man-to-man or we're trapping or we're doubling. We certainly know that we're going to have to be creative on that end.
Breaking the school scoring record in your first game here, people are going to think you're like an offensive-minded coach, but really you focus more on defense.
Right.
How does it feel? Does it make you excited to know that your team can score even when you focus on defense?
Well, I'm excited because our players are excited, and it's their first game. It's their first game with, a new staff. The transition, as I said, I'm really proud of their maturity and their poise that they've shown. They've been waiting for this day to come, and we have not handcuffed them by any means on the offensive end. We've tried to stick with what they like and what they found success in last year with subtle tweaks and some of our own things that we were bringing in offensively and defensively. I'm most proud and excited because, I know that group in the locker room, that's an excited, and they're happy for each other. We talk about falling in love with each other's success. And there's no doubt that, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kids that scored in double digits. At the end of the day, the win was the only thing that mattered. And I guarantee that if you talk to any of those players, that was the most important thing about this afternoon.
What did you see of Alexis Gassion's kind of pass three-pointer that kind of went in?
Well, that was obviously not the play, but it kind of, I think is fitting for the day that we had, just our ability to shoot it, and especially in the first half, lights out. But my thing was it a 3 or was it a 2? That was what I was most curious about, and I think it ended up being a 2. But that was one of those fluke things that happens in the game of basketball, but. One of those things that, like I said, probably if you were a fan in the stands today, you kind of expected it probably to go in.
How encouraged were you by Tyra's steals in 6 or 7?
Yeah, she her on-ball defense continues to be terrific. It's and our on-ball defense collectively, I think, from individuals, has gotten better. But it's off the ball that we continue to be concerned about. We just have to make sure that we have, help on that backside, and we're dropping and we're helping the helper. It's old school basketball stuff, but sometimes we get caught up in just chasing our player and thinking that that's our only responsibility, and our responsibility is all 5 of us have to guard the ball, and we got to stay connected, and so. Those are things that, again, we practice and we drill every day, and we're going to continue to hammer home the emphasis of being where we need to be. But I thought Tyra again was really good, especially on the ball.
How much of an emphasis do you make on offensive constant ball movement? It seemed like there were almost no wasted dribbles. It was always if someone didn't have a shot right away, they seemed to pass. There wasn't a lot of ISO. So how much of an emphasis was keeping the ball moving?
Well, I think that this is a group that, individually, they have a pretty high basketball IQ, really good high school players, and they understand that, ball movement is important for especially our offense that we're running, and give those kids credit. Is that something we emphasize in practice? Absolutely. Sprinting to our screen, sprinting back out, setting up our screens, using screens. But we always talk about ball movement and putting pressure on the defense. But give those kids the credit for, they make the extra pass, and that was one of the things that I've said to them before I even got the opportunity to work with them, and I only played against last year when I was at Indiana State, is I thought they did a terrific job always of making that extra pass to their open teammate. That's unselfish. That's unselfish basketball. That's having a high basketball IQ, knowing that the next pass is the pass that probably leads to an open shot. You know, I'm excited that that whoever taught them that, whether it was a high school or AAU coach, that has you know, come into our program because it's important.
You talked about how Gardner Webb was really athletic, but you guys ended up still winning the rebounding battle pretty
Didn't
decisively.
feel like that. You know, I thought giving up 9 offensive rebounds in the first half, that was, you know, unacceptable at least. You know, we talked about them having some outside shots, long shots. We were going to have contact box outs, and we talk about that. That's one of the things that we emphasize every day. Yeah, I think a lot of that was, you know, some of their wild shots that they were taking throughout the course of the game. You know, I don't think that every one of them was probably the shot that coach was asking them or part of their offense. I think that once they got down, they were just trying to create shots on their own and probably took some unsolicited shots that led to you know, us coming up with 34 defensive rebounds. So give our kids credit though, because you know, that's an area where we got to be really, really great every night rebounding the ball.
One more question. Just looking ahead to Valparaiso, have you guys looked at any tape about them? What do you know about them so far?
You know, I have not. I'm one of those coaches that doesn't try to look ahead. That'll be Coach Lloyd's scout. I know he's watched them. I know last night they beat Butler. I think they scored 91 points. So we will start. I'll start on that prep tonight, and we have a short turnaround time. So we're going to probably take tomorrow off and do some film work as a staff, and then get our kids back on Monday and prepare them for probably what's going to be a good Valpo basketball team.